What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Nerd for No Reason podcast. I am one of your fantastic hosts, Mark.
And I'm the other host. My name's Raven. Hey, how's it going? What's up?
Yay.
Guys?
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of what I lovingly refer to as a movie club for nerds, because we're nerds and everyone else is nerds, and we love movies, and this is a great outlet for us just to talk about random movies. Yeah, welcome. So, Raven, how's your week been?
Not too bad. Not too bad. It's been trucking along. I am just like 4, maybe 5 weeks away until my aunts and my grandmother both go to... Where are they going? They're going to like Scotland and Ireland.
Oh.
So I'm gonna have an entire week off from work, which is great, and then I just get to dog sit their dogs. So my aunt's like, you can stay at my house, you can use the pool, and I'm like, what's up, guys? So that is like just keeping me alive right now. Because like some days I'm like, grooming is great. It's just the fact that I work in a van and like we have AC. So I'll like turn on the AC after like the morning humidity like starts going on, and then that heat just comes through. And as soon as you like step off the van, it's like hot AF. And it's just like, ugh. But, yeah.
That's awesome.
How's your week been?
Busy. We are in the second busiest time of the year for us because it's the end of the school year festivities. So all of our extracurricular stuff, we've had field day, we've had award ceremonies, we've had concerts and recitals and just all kinds of stuff. And it is non-stop. It's been crazy. So yeah. Yeah, it's that time of year. The only time of year that's actually factually busier is Christmas time.
Yeah.
I genuinely have grown to the point in my crotchety old man life where I'm like, December, I hate it so much, because we are just so busy from Thanksgiving to Christmas. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, Jesus, man, let it be over with. We got band concerts and traveling to see family. And I say traveling, like we got to drive like 45 minutes down the road. Like we don't have to like road trip anywhere. At least not anymore. But, you know, like December rolls around. I'm just like, God, just let it be over with, man. Let's just do. Plus my birthday, Alice's birthday, and Kelly's birthday is all in December. Yeah. So we're busy just trying to do stuff. Yeah.
That's the life you chose as being a dad.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of
a good dad.
Yeah.
Put it at that too.
Yeah. But speaking of like the kids awards ceremony things, end of the year spectacular.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell this story because I was sitting there watching a bunch of middle schoolers do various different things over the past week, and we middle schoolers are like a very weird breed. Mm-hmm. Alice is a goofball anyway, and she always like, oh man, how come I can't wear this or can't wear that? And I'm like, in the back of my adult brain, I'm like, this is just something kids go through. I got to talk her off the ledge from wearing something stupid. There, I went to her quote unquote award ceremony where, you know, she got. First off, shout out to my kid. She had like 102 average in social studies, highest in her whole grade.
Jeez.
Got a little medal for it. Super excited for her because she was like the combo breaker for this one girl who was collecting these high score medals like Thanos. Combo breaker, dude. She got one. She got one in math, science, and language arts. And here comes my daughter. Just like, nope, step aside, girl. I got the social studies thing on lock. It was pretty crazy. So super proud of her. And then they were giving out like a sport award or something, and this kid walks up and he is wearing a polo shirt, gym shorts, like basketball shorts, white socks that went like halfway up his calf, with solid white Crocs on.
Oof.
And I was like, my dude,
What
in the world are you wearing? I was so flat, like, it was so crazy that I immediately had to like start jotting down notes in my phone.
Wait,
so I
is this
made
like
sure
a
to
kid
talk about this.
that like got an award and just like went up there looking like that?
Yes.
Or did you just like? Oh my god.
No, like he straight up was. I don't know if the polo shirt made him fancy. I'm not real sure what he wears on the day to day, but it was like I don't know, like some athletic award or something.
Bro.
You know, but there was one kid who got up and got an athletic award, and he honestly looked like the lumbering kind of offensive lineman who's just like, oh shucks, coach, you know, thanks for the award. Like he got that. Like there was one kid who looked like that, and I'm like, all right, he tracks. He looks like, you know, he hauls hay bales out on his cousin's farm to get ready for football. This other kid, well, you know, he was a smaller kid, but my man, when he showed up in that outfit, I was like, what in the world am I even looking at right now? It was wild. And there were, I don't know, I want to say he was probably wearing the most outlandish thing. Yeah. I think he was the only kid who noticeably stood out to me. I was like, oh my God, you just rolled chaos magic on your outfit today.
I mean, that's the thing when you let kids, if kids just go to school and just can wear whatever, like there's not like a dress code like what I had, then they just be showing up in some wild stuff. I used to do like volunteer work with a company called Girls Inc. And I worked with like 1st through 3rd grade girls. Man, some of them would come out and they'd be blinged out, like their freaking shirt and their pants would be bedazzled. And I'd just be like, oh, what we got going on today? And then there was these 2 other little girls who will definitely grow up to be furries at some point because they had like little fox ears that you like clip into your hair, and they had a tail. They had multiple tails. Oh yeah. And they were fuzzy, and they just like go around and like growl at people, and it was just one of those things that you're like, man, I hope you can grow out of this one day, but in this day and age, probably not. Let the kids be what they want to be, I guess.
Another thing that really kind of surprised me with this whole award ceremony was seeing which kids got like the loudest cheers. Yeah. You know, like there was a couple of them. I was like, all right, man, this kid seems kind of nerdy, but he seems like genuinely liked. You know, like he's a good kid, and he got a pretty big pop from the audience. I was like, all right, man, good for this kid. The biggest reaction, and this stunned me to no end, was they called the academic bowl kids up. It was like, oh yeah, we're real proud. These kids, like, they won region and they went to state and competed at state and they took home 2nd place. You know, these are academic bowl kids, and they started calling names, and the crowd of 8th graders went berserk. I was like, what in the hell is it going on? You know, like times they are a changing. And in the back of my mind, I was like, there might be hope for you kids yet. You know, like humanity is restored just a tad, despite this one idiot wearing. You know what? I don't want to call him an idiot. He's just young. He don't know no better. You know, but besides this one kid wearing just crazy outfit, you know what, man? Like you cheer on them nerds, man. Yeah, encourage them to be to be engineers and
Exactly.
politicians, man. Let's go for it. So
Exactly.
yeah, it was pretty cool. It was indeed a fun experience. I find weird ways to enjoy these kind of events that I have to go to. You know, when really I'm only there for like 30 seconds of an event. So
Yeah.
but
I mean, you have to, because, you'd be sitting there for, like, sometimes, like, some of that stuff, you just sit there for, like, so long. I feel bad for, like, my grandparents and, like, my best friend's parents. Like, they would just have to, like, sit there for the band recitals, and I did band and choir. So they, like, had to sit there through the whole thing.
oh yeah,
And I'm just like, man,
that's what I'm going through right now.
some of this was just ass too. Like
Yeah.
my grandparents, like our 5th grade year when it was like beginning band, they were like, "Yeah, you guys did great." And then we would listen to like the beginning band in like high school, and we'd be like, "Jesus Christ, that's how terrible we were." But the parents are like, "Oh, that's my little one playing the cymbal over there. He's doing
Yeah.
great." So at least it's not like one of those super long nights, because the band and choir concert would be like, bro, it felt like eternity that we would just be there.
The chorus concert we went to, I guess last week, was they had 6th, 7th, and 8th grade in there, and there were so many people there that they had one. I guess they weren't expecting that many people, but they had like one side of the gym, the bleachers pulled out, and the chorus was facing one direction, and the entire side of that gymnasium was filled up, and there were people standing.
Ooh.
I was like, holy crap. Like, we walked in like 10 minutes till, and I was like, oh man, there's nowhere to sit, because I got there before everyone else. Me and Amy got there before everyone else, and Kelly was on her way from work. I think my mother-in-law, she was on her way. I'm like, oh crap, I got to hold this for 2 people. And then like 2 people from church showed up and were like, we want to sit next to you. I'm like, no, that's not a good idea. And then they proceeded to sit down and kind of scooch themselves over.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh boy. Yeah, I was not having a good time after that, because they're like the people that want to talk.
Yeah.
They have to make comments after everything. So the people get done singing, they're like, that was lovely. I'm like, yes, I know it was lovely. I don't need you to say anything. Like, hush.
Yeah. Yeah. Like those like old people that are always like, did you also like that? I liked when, and you're like, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was also listening
exactly
to the
it.
exact same music you were. Thanks, Bob. Let's continue.
Right. Yeah, it was very much that type of scenario. It was wild. Yeah. And being a parent in a very creative household where my kids are in all of these creative things that require recitals and all this, it's very much you have to sit through 2 hours of things that you don't want to see 2 minutes of things you do want to see. We had piano recital this week. Our kids were scheduled for different times, different performances. So we went and saw Amy's group first, and then we sat through Alice's group, and boy, was that an adventure to say the least. And then it's also the same with Alice's play, because by the time we get to Alice's play, especially this year, I sat in all of her voice lessons where her and her voice teacher went over her song she was going to sing. She was Mrs. Potts in Beauty and the Beast, so I listened to her sing Beauty and the Beast 100 times. Had to be. And then when it came down to like performance night, I was like, I only want to hear Beauty and the Beast. And I only want to hear, or I only want to see the audience's reaction. This is all I care about, So 2 hours of the show for basically 3 minutes of a performance. So, yeah. But no, I'm super proud of my kids, man. They do the dang old thing, and yeah. So
Good kids.
yeah. Let's see. Oh, here's something else that's happened this week. Tears of the Kingdom has taken up all of my free time, every single bit of it. I don't know how much you've seen on TikTok or any other social media about this game, but I have invested a lot of hours into it. Mm-hmm. And out of the 4 main areas, the 4 main temples or whatever you can do, I've done one of them, which means I have done 1/4 of the story so far, and I have played just about every free moment this week. And I've just been running around building stuff and just doing random adventures.
Dying.
And I am not sick of it at all.
Well, that's good, at least.
It is fantastic game. I know I talked about it last week about how much I enjoyed it, but now that I've really had some time put in on it, I don't know how to describe like how they've done it, because last week I don't think I even scratched the surface on just being able to build stuff. And that is such a wild thing to where you could sit there for hours and just be like, I wonder what I can build today. Because I fall down rabbit holes on TikTok or YouTube where people are like, oh yeah, no, we've built an all-terrain vehicle that we've taken these parts and we've basically made like spring suspension so we can go over like these huge boulders. They've built mechanical robots. They've built like Gundams. They've built like these death lasers that you hit a button, you mount them on this platform, you mount a rocket to it, it'll shoot up in the air, and then once it's up so high and it's above like this big bad enemy, it'll start firing these sweeping lasers that just destroy this. I saw something today, probably about 15 minutes before we started recording, where someone built a basically, I don't know if you've ever seen like them fence hog traps that they kind of release when all the hogs are eaten, and then it's like this big circular trap that drops down. It traps like 20 hogs at once. Someone built a version of that to where they lowered this cage over these pig enemies and has spinning death lasers in them, and it just slices them up. I'm like, this game is so wild to me. And the kind of common thing that I keep hearing from people when I listen to a podcast or something about it is they all say the same thing. They say, I start playing it and I think to myself, I wonder if I can do that. And then I can. And if that is not the whole summation of this game, is just, I wonder if I can do that. Holy shit, I can. And it just lets you be as creative or as whatever as you can. And last night, before I went to bed, I started playing, and next thing I know, like, I am literally in this, like this, it wasn't a dungeon proper, but it is probably the most dungeonous dungeon that I've done in a Switch Zelda game, where I started down this path and I'm just busting out these breakable bricks, and I'm breaking and I'm breaking and I'm breaking, and I'm just like, oh snap, here's an armor piece I was looking for. And then I'm breaking and I'm breaking. I'm just keep moving through this tunnel system. And next thing I know, I got this full set of armor. I've fought all these things, and then it dumps me out in this place. And I'm like, holy crap, I'm here. This is amazing. I just did basically an old school Zelda dungeon just because I just decided to keep pressing forward. And I am perfectly happy with this. This dumped a whole bunch of serotonin in my brain, and I am super thrilled with it. Yeah, this game's amazing. You need to get it and play it.
Yeah, we were somewhere today. They had like a little dog, like, oh, you can set up little shop, or not like little shops, but like little booths, and you can like promote your stuff for like the area of Knoxville for your dogs. So my aunt went to promote the grooming and stuff, and we went over to some lady that does like dog training because I was like, let's go talk to her because I need to get some training for Mudslide because he's a little anxious bastard. And the lady like saw Chris's shirt and was like, "Have you played the game yet?" And he was like, "No, I really want to." And she was like, "Oh, it's so good." Like everyone is just hyping it up, of course. He really wants to play. And he's like, "I want us to both get it." And I'm like, "Dog, that's a lot of money for us to both like have it so we can like just sit there and play it side by side because like he's going to actually want to like do the quest and stuff while I like doing like all the weird like side stuff like being like, "Oh, can I go over here and play in the grass?" Like stupid shit like that.
Yes, yes, you can. Anything that you want to do. The wildest thing is apparently this game is only 16 gigabytes, which is astonishing. You download this game, I guess, from the eShop. If you download it there, it's only a 16 gigabyte file. And I don't know if that's just how much you need to play it or if that's just how much space it takes up. I don't know because I have the physical copy.
Yeah.
But apparently the file size is only 16 gigs. And compared to like a game like the new Jedi Survivor, which is more than 100 gigs and has a hard time running even on top-end PCs, you know, they have made this game so efficient that with as much as I've played it, I think maybe once I've had a noticeable frame rate drop where I'm like, this is what it takes for it to stutter, you know. But as far as just being like, I wonder how much of this dumb shit I can glue together and make something fun. Here we go. Let's see what happens. It's running off and just playing in the field somewhere. It wants you to do that before you go and do the mainline stuff. There's not only is there's a whole section of this world that a lot of people aren't talking about, and I'm not going to spoil it here, that is literally just essentially just an expansion. I don't even want to say that. That's the wrong word for it. It's, man, how do I say this without saying it? Just when you think that the world is bigger, it like doubles in size. And it is like literally exploring a brand new world.
Ooh.
There we go. And it's insane. They've sold I was reading the article as I was like trying to pull stuff for this episode. Nintendo said that they sold 10 million copies of this game in the first 3 days. That means last weekend they sold 10 million copies of this game.
Ooh.
And quick math on that, assuming that each one was $70, and we know that some sold for more if you got a special edition or whatever, but we'll just say $70. That means they made $700 million last weekend.
Jesus Christ.
And I desperately want to know what those numbers are now.
Dude.
But it's, and another thing TikTok has been showing me is people have been taking little Koroks from the first game because they're back, and they have been building like crucifixes, and basically you can attach little Koroks to your building or to whatever you build, because there's certain things where you have to like move Koroks from one location to another, and you can take them, and they have this ability called Ultra Hand where you can fuse building materials, and that's how people make all these crazy building things. And you can take a Korok and fuse it to something that you build, And people have been making crosses and putting Koroks on there and then setting the cross on fire and crucifying these poor little Koroks. They've been putting them on spit roast. It's been
yeah. I saw like a
bonkers.
thing on Twitter, and it was literally like someone just like posted a giant thread of like people that were like showing all the like heinous, insane things they were doing to the Korok. So I like posted it in one of our Discord chats, and everyone was just like, "Good God, what would these poor little Koroks do to y'all?"
They made me do they made me find 900 of them. That's what they did to me.
They're the little Oompa Loompas of the Zelda world, and y'all just hating on my little friends.
Oh. So yeah, go get at least a copy, and then you can play it whenever Chris runs out of steam on it. He'll be like, "Oh man, I gotta take a break," and then you can just be like, "Cool, I got it." Hyrule's not gonna save us. That's what I've been telling my family. Like, what are you gonna go do? Play Zelda? I'm like, Hyrule is not gonna save itself. It's up to me.
I'll play it while he's at work, and he'll play it while I'm at work. There we go.
See, there you go. That's it right there.
Although he'd probably steal it and just take it to work.
No. Lay those ground rules early.
Dude, he said he watched like a whole movie last night and then an episode of some show because they were so slow last night. I was like, what do you even do there?
I know, right? All right, well, you ready to talk about some movies?
I am always ready to talk about this movie. This is actually one of like my top 3 favorite movies. TBH.
Really?
Yes. I watched this at least once. At least once. Every single year.
Cool.
Hey there, guys. The movie that we're going to be talking about today is the classic 1988 movie Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
Ooh, I see what you did there.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. What's going to happen? Micheal Keaton's going to show up out of our microphones. This movie, this is the first time I've seen this movie in a couple years. This is a fantastic movie. I love rewatching movies that I'm like, oh, yeah, I enjoy this. And then I watch it again, and I'm like, man, I have very little complaints with this movie.
Dude, it's a banger.
It really is. It's super fun. Like, I love how they again, one of my biggest pet peeves is like, oh, we got rules and then we don't follow them. This right here has a very clear cut kind of set. It has a handbook that tells you the rules, and yeah, it's pretty freaking sweet. Tim Burton, like, this is a very Tim Burton movie too. Like, this is 80s. Like, I dare say this is Tim Burton in his peak. You know, like, I can see like little shreds of, you know, I don't want to say this is Tim Burton in his peak. This is like watching Tim Burton in like the Sweeney Todd days. Going back and watching this, and you can see all the groundwork for what gave him like Batman and Edward Scissorhands and all that other stuff. Like, I feel like this is all groundwork right here.
I feel like it can even like apply to like some of his animated movies too.
Yes, because the
like,
sandworms were very much Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes, you even got like the Beetlejuice suit is kind of, you know, the Jack Skellington type look. You've got A Crazy Wedding, so then there's the Corpse Bride.
Yeah.
You can think about a lot of like different movies that it's like he almost like threw this movie together, and then like he'd just think about it and be like, hey, that might be a good little idea right there. I'm gonna just tuck that in my pocket for a little bit. And then at some point he comes out and just keeps on going. Dude, but Micheal Keaton in this movie?
Man.
The star of the show. Whew.
And I think that even I'm I'm trying to think because I know that he was known for Mr. Mom at this point, but I don't think was quite the household name that Beetlejuice and then obviously Batman made him. I remember the rumblings as a kid of when Batman was getting ready to come out, and like, oh well, who's Batman? Because the only Batman most of us had known in the late '80s was Adam West. The corny
yeah
iteration, and we were like, man, Tim Burton got Mr. Mom to play this, like, what, Micheal Keaton, really? And Keaton is arguably one of the most popular Batmans, so it's wild. I think that Beetlejuice is what kind of launched him into the higher profile, and then after that it was Batman, and so on and so on. So
yeah, definitely.
I'm pulling up because I wanted to see what I know you don't remember this, because I dare say you probably weren't even alive in 1988, were you?
Were I? I am younger than your brother, so
most
likely not.
No. Okay. Yeah, there was a Beetlejuice cartoon.
I do know of the Beetlejuice cartoon. I have yet to find somewhere that I can actually just watch and stream it, which makes me very sad because I do want to watch it. I know that it's not the same as the movie and that it's a whole different concept, but even still, I would love to watch that.
All right, I will send you a link and then you can look around and see. But after watching the Beetlejuice movie that we did this week, why in the world was there some exec that was like, yes, let's make a cartoon about this guy and team him up with Winona Ryder's character? It's real. Yeah. But, it was the 80s and a lot of people did cocaine, so I'm sure they were like, yes, this is a great idea. We can make more money.
They were just spitting out just back-to-back ideas, and we're like, let's keep it going, guys.
Right.
It'll be great if we... And then they're like,
a girl gremlin.
God, I love it so much. That stays in my head constantly.
Yeah. That's such...
That
is a very seems like accurate skit, because I think we bring that up every time. We're like, why in the world will they do that? Yeah. Let's see. Let me pull up my notes here.
Ye notes.
Winona Ryder in one of her first big roles.
And she does great.
She kills it. Again, someone who got launched into the stratosphere. This Edward Scissorhands led to Little Women, an Oscar nomination. I think it was an Oscar. I don't know, an awards nomination. And then after that, Stranger Things, most notably. But I want to take a very special moment here because I love me some Glenn Shaddix. He is the tubby man that played Ortho.
Oh, yeah.
And I love me some Glenn Shaddix because I met him at one of the first big Comic-Cons I went to ever in my life. I was in England, and I went to the London Comic-Con, and this was early 2000s. And I was a novelty there, which was funny because I go to this thing and I meet with all these actors and stuff as I'm, going through to get autographs. And as I'm just kind of walking around, it wasn't set up like it is now. These actors were literally at just a fold-up table and a little booth or something. And there was no line or nothing. They kind of had a handler, but they didn't. And you could just walk up and be like, hey, what's going on? Or hey, what's up with you? and they'd sign something for you and be like, cool, it's like $5. You're like, here you go, here's $5. And they'd sign it, and I was like, oh, that's weird. And I met Glenn Shaddix from Beetlejuice.
Mm-hmm.
And he was super cool because him, like everyone else, was like, are you American? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, what are you doing over here? And I said, I'm actually stationed here. I live in England. I live like 2 hours down the road. He's like, oh, that's great. Where are you from originally? I said, Georgia. He's like, cool. I'm from Alabama. And we just started talking. My life is weird like that, apparently. So we started talking, and I was like, how'd you get into acting and all this? And we sat there and talked for like 10 minutes because no one was walking up to his booth and talking to him. And I was, because I was like, you're the dude from Beetlejuice. And we talked, and I have a picture somewhere of that scene where Micheal Keaton as Beetlejuice like hops on his back like a piggyback, and he's got that scared look on his face. I have a signed picture of Glenn Shaddix in somewhere around here, and he was super duper cool, and I was very sad to hear he passed away however many years ago it was, because I only met him once, and he took the time to talk to me, and I very much enjoyed our conversation. That's why Glenn Shaddix is the bomb.
That's nice. That's so sweet.
So, yeah, he's a cool dude. Let's see. Oh man. All right. So I remember when trailers for this came out, and when Beetlejuice goes, I'm the ghost with the most. Oh boy. I don't know if the marketing department was ready for all of the merchandise that they were ready to sell that had ghost with the most on it. I don't even know if that was in the script. Because they played that clip ad nauseum. I'm the ghost with the most, baby. First off, God, I wish I could talk to Micheal Keaton, because I want to know what his inspiration was for Beetlejuice. If it was just 100% Southern used car salesman. Because that's the vibe I get all the time.
Yeah. Well, I like the fact that, there is, he does his own little spin-offs and stuff that he'll just be working on something, and he's just like, what's up? And then changes his voice. Next thing you know, you look over and he's just doing another thing. I just like his little skits and bits that he does. It's a fun time.
Go ahead.
Chris and I actually went to Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando. When was this? 2021? Yeah, 2021. And the reason that I was like, we are going, I do not care if you get scared, because it's a bunch of haunted houses, and Chris has told me I'm no longer allowed to take him to haunted houses, but this right here was the best part, is that they had a haunted house that was dedicated to Beetlejuice. And I was like, there's no fucking way that I'm missing this. And it was great. There was just a bunch of different Beetlejuices doing their own little things everywhere. And you of course see Adam and Barbara doing the whole pulled face bit and stuff like that. And it was great. It was so great. And I think about that a lot. Because I'm always just man, I could just live in a little Beetlejuice world, and that would be great. Sometimes I think about making those stupid little what do you call them? The little
diorama
yes
of the town.
Thank you.
Yes.
Because I'm always just this could be me.
It can be you. There's nothing stopping you.
I'm too lazy to do all that. Also, where am I gonna put it? My uncle collects planes, the little plane figurine type thingamajiggers. And he will make little backgrounds and stuff for his planes when he's getting ready to sell his planes to buy new planes. So maybe I could just work on it with him. That's what I'll do. Anyways, back to Beetlejuice.
Let's see. There the special effects in this movie are phenomenal. I love all the prosthetic work. It makes me happy. I love practical effects when they're done right, and this is definitely one of those examples where it is done absolutely right. Mm-hmm. And after watching it this time, I think I kind of want to let Alice watch this thing because it is it's spooky, but it's not like super spooky.
Yeah, it's a little raunchy, but at the same time, it's like just enough toned down that you're like, we're okay.
Right. It never goes into like it never goes like full vulgarity.
Yeah.
It's like, like Beetlejuice is a little kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I don't want to say rough around the edges, but but he never goes like,
say a pervert, but yeah, sure.
Yeah. Like he is, but he's like right on that line of being, where you'd be like, no, I shouldn't show this to anybody. He's just too much, And I'm kind of curious if there is like cutting room floor type stuff of him going too far. And Tim Burton was like, no, that's too much. You got to stop,
Maybe.
Where Gina Davis was like, dude, stop.
Yeah. Or like Winona Ryder's just like, hey man, I'm just supposed to play a kid. You're getting a little crazy with it. Hold up.
Right.
She's like talking to the casting director and was like, why would you fucking bring this man in here? No, but he's like literally just like the perfect part for it. Like, how we try to like recreate a bunch of movies nowadays. I don't know who the heck they would get to play Micheal Keaton as good as Micheal Keaton has done.
Jack Black.
I mean, I would like to see that, but at the same time, I don't need to see that.
I think we just recast every major movie with Jack Black.
With Jack Black. Jack Black is just going to be the number one pick for any movie.
I literally, as I was saying those words, I was thinking like a list of movies with like irreplaceable, like Back to the Future. Who would we cast as Doc Brown? Jack Black. Who would be Beetlejuice? Jack Black. What was the other one we had? Oh, Labyrinth. Jack Black.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like as I'm scrolling through the list of classics, we could fit Jack Black into each one of those remakes.
Could be a good time.
I think so.
Maybe that's what he should do. Is he should do like a little like compilation of like him playing different like super like notable movie actors and stuff like that. That'd be just like plug them all in together. So, how do you feel about Catherine O'Hare's like part in this movie?
Oh, I love
the
Catherine
fact that
O'Hare.
she plays like this like bitchy mom that's just like, yeah, whatever, sweetie, we're gonna redo this whole house, and like the house ends up looking like a catastrophe. Like her interior decorating skills was not very shabby. I'm not even gonna lie.
All right, two very important things. Full disclosure. I had and still kind of do have a crush on Beetlejuice era Catherine O'Hara and current day Catherine O'Hara. And at the same time, her character in Beetlejuice, I know like 5 people like this, where she is just, oh, look at this great thing that I've made, and isn't it so great? Look at this thing. And you're like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Because one time, somewhere, some way, she sold one piece of art, quote unquote, to someone who bought it, and she's like, cool, I am an actual factual artist now. I'm going to make a living doing this. So.
And it's all like just weird. Like, some people will make some weird pieces, but at the same time, you can look at it and be like, okay, but I kind of get it. Like, it's kind of cool, but like most of her stuff was just, I don't know. It looked like it was just made out of a bunch of like weird styrofoam that she put like Play-Doh over, like black Play-Doh.
Yeah.
So it like had like a weird little dips and grooves and stuff in it.
And whoever the dad was,
Jeffrey Jones.
Jeffrey Jones,
Yeah.
he always creeped me out, even in Howard the Duck. He creeped me out again in this movie. I never liked him. I'm sorry. I know he's been in legal trouble. The dude freaks me out. He's just got a face that freaks me out. I don't like him. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's fair, I guess. Everyone's allowed to have their opinion.
So, I do kind of appreciate the fact that there is, how they depict the afterlife. Just like there being an administrative side to the afterlife. Yeah. And the workers are just as exasperated. They're like, oh, gee, oh, what? Oh, you're going to show up. Let me guess, you don't have an appointment, do you? Probably ain't even read your handbook. Yep, I know. You're like, the 10th person today who showed up is like, oh, I don't know what to do. Am I really dead? Yes. All right, sit down. Take a number. Just completely done with the bullshit. And it cracks me up.
Yeah. And then the, like, waiting room full of, like, just people that died in the most, like, weird, tragic, comical type ways.
Right.
My man over there that got run over by a car and he's literally just being carried around by, like, little hanging clips on a conveyor.
Yeah.
Like, little moving. Love it. It's got some good comedy in it.
Yeah. And this guy, the people who wrote this movie, shout out to them. Michael McDowell, Larry Wilson, Warren Skowron. They've worked on multiple Tim Burton projects over the years. I writing in Hollywood is a really kind of weird animal because you never know who kind of wrote what. Because all these guys never worked together, quote unquote, again. So it's you never know like who's responsible for what, but just the way, like, I want to know whose concept it was to come up with, like, okay, cool, we have this administrative afterlife and we got this part where we're going to sing like old Harry Belafonte songs. And this movie right here, the Harry Belafonte, me singing in as a kid singing that song, this was it. Jump in the line, rock your body. Yeah, I was all about this movie is great.
Mm-hmm. I love that song. Anytime like I hear it, like I instantly think of Beetlejuice. So it's in like my Halloween playlist because how can I not?
It's weird what movies kind of recall what imagery, based on, like, I guarantee you that before 1988, is this 88? I think 87. Yeah. Before this movie came out, no one was like, oh yeah, Harry Belafonte, let me sing this song. And a year later, it's like, nope, it is tied to this movie for the rest of its natural life. No one is ever going to, like, hear these two songs and not think of Micheal Keaton in white face paint and a wig.
The good old shrimp scene.
Man,
like, start dancing.
The only part of the movie that actually genuinely freaked me out when I was a kid, because it went from like so fun to them, like with them dancing around, and then the shrimp hands came out, and I was like, oh my god, that scared the hell out of 8-year-old Mark. So, what do you think? You might actually know this because this is one of your favorite movies. Do you know if originally it was going to be called like a more phonetic spelling of Beetlejuice. Like, was it really going to be called like Beetlegeist, or they were going to use like the way it's spelled on the tombstone as like the original box art instead of like changing it to quote unquote Beetlejuice?
Yeah, I think that it was originally supposed to be the Beetlegeist. And then like it was like people aren't gonna know what this is, and then nobody's gonna want to come see it. So they just like changed it like last minute. It was like, well, we're gonna see what happens. People will either come to it or they won't, but whatever. I'm like 90% sure that's like what actually happened. Is they were just like, someone was just like, hey guys, what does this even mean? Because obviously, when they first start reading it, or yeah, when they first start reading it in the book, and they're just like, what the fuck is this?
Right.
And then he comes over and he's the little bug and the little juice carton, stuff like that. Because sometimes you like see posters for movies and you're like, what the heck is this?
Right.
What am I even supposed to know what this is?
I think it's criminal that this movie is only a 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb.
I'm gonna fight the people of IMDb. No way. That movie is way better than that shit.
Out of 315,000 votes.
There's a 4.6 on Google review.
Yep. Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah. That's at least better. I know I was telling you beforehand, but Chris and I found out, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, that there's a Beetlejuice musical. Like, because COVID, like, stopped everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it was probably, like, a few years ago. But, like, when Broadway, like, started opening everything up again, I think I, like, looked on the news for it, and they were like, oh, these are the musicals that are going to be coming back, and I saw it, and I was like, what the heck is this? And apparently their Beetlejuice musical is coming to Knoxville next year. So I'm like, can I, like, promise myself that I'll be here for, like, in that time frame? If I, like, buy tickets a year in advance? So I might be seeing Beetlejuice the musical. What's up?
You should. I've seen clips of it because my daughter is kind of a Broadway nerd. It seems like it is super fun.
Yeah, we listened to, like, the music for it when Chris and I found out about it. We were like, okay. I'm sure you know as well that there's been talk for so long, so long, about a sequel to Beetlejuice. And it, like, was officially announced, like, just this month.
Yes. Which I think is just a fun, because it is actually just a fun happenstance that we were like, oh yeah, Beetlejuice, let's do this one. Yeah, they announced it not too long ago. And they're getting Jenny Ortega to play, I guess, Lydia's kid, which is, honestly perfect. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, because if you're gonna get anybody, then you definitely need to get Jenny Ortega, because she is very much the Winona Ryder. Jenna, excuse me. Yes, okay. It is Jenna.
I was like, am I wrong?
So.
What are they gonna do about Beetlejuice? Is he gonna age? Is it gonna be?
Well, I mean,
Jack Black.
No, it's Micheal Keaton. But they could just throw some makeup on him. I mean, he was so caked up in makeup.
I mean, yeah, you can just throw makeup on him, but is he still gonna be? I don't know how old Micheal Keaton is.
Oh, let's see. How old?
I just don't want him to be like,
Well,
he goes from like this super animated type dude to where Micheal Keaton's like, well, I guess I have to try and do it again because I've been dead for however long in the first movie, so, I wonder. I just don't want them to do like a bunch of like CG type stuff. Like I want more of what
Yeah,
is genuine to it. Like almost like how they redid the latest Ghostbusters that we watched.
yeah,
Because that felt very genuine to the original, and I just want something that feels in that same realm. That like sure you look back at the first one and you're like, yeah, it's a little shitty, but like obviously we've advanced in so many ways, but you can see it still being a part of the actual realm.
yeah. I don't know. I'm looking at IMDb here, and they're saying that. All right, so yeah, Jenna Ortega is going to be Lydia's daughter. Monica Bellucci is going to be Beetlejuice's wife. Um, I don't know if you know who that is. She is probably most noticed or noticeable from like I guess our generation as the really smoking hot wife lady, Carrie Elwes's wife in The Matrix.
I've never seen The Matrix, so.
Oh well, crap on a cracker. Let's see. What else would you know her in? Um, man, see, she was in 2017 Twin Peaks. Um, oh man, she was like,
Hey, Twin Peaks.
The Matrix, The Matrix, The Matrix. Like she's been in other stuff, but I'm also like because she's a non-American actor. She's been in a bunch of like foreign movies, and it's kind of hard to be like, oh yeah, you might know her from this because I know you don't know her from that. So I looked it up. Michael Keaton is 71 years old.
Jesus.
He looks really good for 71.
Yeah, well, you remember when they did, was it Clint Eastwood? When he was like 90 something and was like kicking some kid's ass in the
Yeah,
last movie that he did? Uh, it looked so dumb because they had it out when I was working at Regal. And I was just like, how are you supposed to believe that this, like, frail old man is out here just doing all this stuff? But Michael Keaton does look good.
all right. Well, I don't have anything else for some old Beetlejuice. You got anything else?
I suppose not.
All right. All right. Well, um, I guess let's talk about my favorite part of the week. Raven, what has made you happy this week?
Um, Great question. I actually ended up going home to ye old Chattanooga this weekend because it was my best friend's birthday, and she was like, I don't want to be at our apartment in South Carolina. We want to come home and see family. So I went up and I spent the night with her, and we just like hung out and did stuff. Her sister was occasionally home, so we could hang out with her. Her husband is also a good time, so it was just a nice time to see them because I don't get to see them very much since she's been in med school. But yeah, that was my lovely little piece of reality. Because Chris was like, I know you've been not feeling the greatest mentally. And I was like, neither is she. So you put two both mentally ill people together, and what do you get? Just a bunch of nonsense talk that half the time neither of us really know what's going on. She'll just like start talking about stuff, and I'm just like, what are you even talking about? And she's like, oh, that conversation that we were having like 45 minutes ago, I was finishing it. And I'm just like, bro, read the room. We were off that conversation for that long for a while. Anyways, but yeah. So happy birthday to my best friend, and welcome to no insurance because She also just turned 26. But
Oh,
it'll be easier for her because her husband works for her father, and, you know, they all got insuranced up. But she was just like, wait, so she didn't understand how the insurance worked. She's like, so does it end at like the end of the month? And I'm like, no, dog. Starting, you know, tomorrow, you're just screwed. She's like, oh, well, that sucks. And I was like, yeah, it does. I just been raw dogging it out here without any insurance since February. Mark, go ahead and tell the people what has made you happy this week.
I don't know. Hearing my co-host just say I've been raw dogging it out here without insurance since February is pretty great.
Thanks, man.
Uh, I kind of mentioned this at the top of the show. Like watching my kid be successful at things is really a proud dad moment. You know, watching her, be successful and have, a working friend group and just be the best her she can be. It really kind of lets me know that I'm doing good dad things, and I'm trying really hard to be a good dad. And it's a full-time job. I hate to sound cliche like that, but it really is. It's a lot of work, making sure my kids don't turn out like jerks. So just to see her doing good and Amy doing good in school too. She's come a long way this year. I wish I could take a lot of credit for that, but I can't. It's been mostly her teacher, because I've just been trying to be like, yes, you just trying to teach her not to, I don't know, just mainly teaching her just how to function in society, I guess. Teaching them both how to function in society. Just, be street smart too, along with book smart. But no, I'm super proud of my kids, man. This is the time of year when I can just gloat about them kind of unapologetically, watching them do piano and get good grades and all this other stuff. Makes me happy. That and Tears of the Kingdom. Super happy. I'm going to be talking about that one for a while. Just we're going to make that a blanket statement. Get ready. Like, this is going to be the new TikTok joke. Tears of the Kingdom every week for like probably the next 3 months until I decide to beat the game.
There you go. Nice. You do have good kids, so you're doing good work out there.
I never realized that part of like the genuine worry that I have as a parent is, please God, let my kids act like they have some sense when I'm not around.
Right.
Like, I worry about that more than just about anything. They go off and do something, and I'm like, please God, don't let them be stupid. And they're apparently really good when they're around other people. They just act the ass when they're around me and each other. Was it yesterday?
Of course.
Yeah. Yesterday morning, I didn't even know Alice was up until I heard Amy. Until I just heard them start bickering. And I'm like, really? Like, it is 8:00 in the morning. Stop. So, but that's another complaint for another day. Oh.
True that.
Oh.
True that.
Raven, tell everybody where they can find you on the social media.
What's up, guys? You can find me over there at the Twitters at spooky_Raven, or ye old Instagrams at That's So Raven Ellis. You can also find our lovely little podcast on whatever social media you feel like it. At Nerd for No Reason. How about you, Mark? Where are your socials located?
Let's see. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Turtles Do It. I straight up almost said, hey, you can find me at Nerd for No Reason. Nope, it's at Turtles Do It. It's late.
Well, I mean,
yeah, you can find me at Nerd for No Reason as well. But I feel like I've been awake forever, and it's late. It's not even late. It's late for me. Yeah. I'm tired, y'all.
it's okay.
I've hit the proverbial brick wall. So let's wrap it up. Go do something wonderful in the world today.
You guys go ingest some super cool medias, and we'll see you here back next week at the Nerd for No Reason podcast. My brain just
You hit that
Stop.
proverbial brick wall too, didn't you?
on God.
Like mid-sentence.
Oof, that was a struggle.
Goodbye,
Anyways,
everybody.
Goodbye.